My name is Dayibara Orike. Welcome to week 4 of this project, the Story on Mask Diabetes project, and I believe it's been impactful so far, and I'm sure this week will be a blessing as well, as we follow through. And thanks again for coming back. It's good to see you coming back again, So like we know my story over the past weeks, I've said, I was first diagnosed in 2008, and that was while I was pregnant with my first daughter, and it's been a carry on from one medication to the other, increasing medications, but that didn't really solve the problem. And it carried on for up to that over 10 years before I was able to find the way out. And why am I doing this? Because when you see something good, you want to shout it out loud. When you go to the shop and you see penny sale going on, you call your friends, come on, there's a sale going on here. Let's go carry stuff. Let's go grab a bargain. So seeing something good, I thought, okay, well, or not just seeing, but experiencing something good, I thought it would be nice for others as well to benefit from it. And that's why we're doing this. That's the origin for this project. Another drive for this project is the fact that I lost my mom at an early age, and I don't want people to lose relatives and loved ones. So we're here to see how we can curtail that, so people don't go through what I've gone through. And also, so people don't go through medication line for years and years and years before coming out. If they can get the truth early enough, why not share the truth and let people benefit from it and get a better deal, right? No better than what I had. Let it be that I've passed through that for as many that will come after to get this early enough and to cut. You don't have to have diabetes for 10 years before you come out. You can be free here and now. It's just about accepting that it's possible and making up your mind to walk towards freedom, if I'll put it that way. Okay, so last week I spoke a bit about the food I was eating and how I ran away from carbs. And I'm glad today I've got the bread I spoke about, the high-low bread. So this is what the packet looks like. That's what the packet looks like. And you get this from Sainsbury's. For those in Aberdeen, you get it from the Sainsbury's at Berry. It's called high-low bread, that's it. And then looking at the bag, as you can see, I already started eating some. I love it. So it's good, it's good. And guess what? There was a big temptation in my house this morning. My daughter made French toast. Some people call it eggy bread, and it's very yummy. Seriously, I tried really hard to overcome that temptation. It was so much. And I told her, excuse me, do you know I'm telling you to run away from this thing? she didn't take, I know, so much, but it was there staring at my face in the kitchen. And it was my decision whether to take it or not to take it. And I'm glad I won. I did not take it, not even a piece of it. And you can do it too. That temptation was serious, trust me. It was a big one this morning. So we all can overcome these temptations if we make up our minds. So now from this bread, what I'm seeing here is the carbohydrate content of one slice is 5 grams. And the sugar, so out of the 5 grams, 1.1 gram is sugar. But guess what? The fiber is 3.4 grams. So this is what we're talking about. So if you take away the fiber content from the carbs, you have just a little carbs left. And that's you scaling through. So that's why this bread makes more sense than 22 grams of carbs in the white toasty we buy in the shop and all that. So if you take away 3.4 from 5 grams of carbs, you have just about 1 point something left. So you're safer with the high-low bread if you must eat bread. Now, can I just say that coming out of diabetes, in terms of the diet aspect of it, there are 2 phases. I'll call it 2 phases. Because the first phase is a drastic one. Phase 1 is when you're like, I'm coming out of this now. So at that phase, you take drastic moves, just like I did. All carbs, get out of my way. Anything called bread and bread make out, bagels, croissants, all those things just go. Now that's a drastic step because you're used to it and you're saying complete going, not I'll take 1 slice, no. I didn't start on this bread from the beginning. I took everything off first. And when I knew where I was and discovered this from my research, I said, okay, at least I won't miss out on bread that much. I could have this. But the first phase, for those that maybe are having high sugars now, you need to take that drastic step and make up your mind about this carbohydrates. So much, not all, so much of carbs is your enemy. That's the major culprit. And I hope and I believe that God will help us. And I believe, if we really have a why, if we really desire to come out of this, focus on that why, focus on your goal, and you're going to get there. So I just thought to encourage us with that. Another thing I did, in summary, our goal is to reduce the spiking of blood sugar. So whatever is going to make it spike high, you need to run away from it as much as possible. Another thing I did was I started researching, as Doc said the other time. I heard from her, I went and researched, and I saw, things called glycemic index, about, high glycemic index and low, medium and low. And what are these? Glycemic index is said to be like, it's just how they measure the level of carbohydrates in the foods, in the fruits and things like that. So when I started doing this, I realized that banana spikes my sugar so high, so I ran from banana as well. And I talked to them like berries, blueberries, those were okay. Blueberries, blackberries, although I didn't like them initially, it's not what I eat. But if I must have fruits, then I thought of alternative. I went to my avocados, that helped my life a lot as well. And it makes you full as well, the avocados. And I also looked into the portion sizes as well of what I was taking in terms of the other food I was eating. So I still had my meat, my fish, all kinds of meat, all kinds of fish, my eggs, beans. I checked my portion sizes for my beans and my, plantains and all that, because somehow I realized that the bean still has carbs in it, but not as high as rice, I would say. So they all have a little here and there. And like I said, your machine is your friend. That glucose machine thing to check the blood sugar is your friend, because when you eat and you check it, it helps you to know what the food is doing to your system. So those were some things I did. So some low carb meals, some low GI fruits and veggies, like those green veggies. Green veggies are low GI, that's low glycemic index, they are okay. Most fruits are on that category, but banana, I would say banana is not in that category. Your raw carrots are okay. Kidney beans are okay. Your bran flakes are okay, And then for the medium range, pineapple is in the medium range of the glycemic index and all that. Doc knows more about this than me. It's just based on the little research I did. I realized that even the fruits need to be looked into, because their fruit doesn't mean they won't spike sugars. So when I researched and realized, I know how to start testing and checking. So whatever will raise the blood sugars too high is what we're avoiding. And carbs are the culprits. So basically, we're looking into low carb, high fat diet. So those eggs and those avocados are those nice. So the healthy fats are those ones I started going for. Even the oil had to change to maybe like the olive oil and all that, but not so much as well, because I don't fry that much, so that helped me a bit. And then the meter readings. Now, coming to that, what I was doing is I'll check the blood sugar before I eat, and I'll eat that meal. For example, if I plan having burger, just the meat of the burger and vegetable, like the mixed veg or whatever veg, maybe salad or any kind of salad, either salad or the mixed veg or just spinach, whatever. If I'm having that, I'll just check the sugar, check the sugar, get my meal. 1 hour, between 1 and 2 hours after I have my meal, I check it again. That tells me what the food I just ate has done to my blood sugar level. And then before lunch, I do the same, before dinner. So that's me testing minimum of 6 times a day. It wasn't funny. but I had to do it. I was pricking, I just checked. I was like, I need to be on top of this thing by all means, but anyway. And that's the mindset you need to have. Once you have your why and you're focused on your why, it doesn't matter what else comes around. Yes, you feel the pains when you prick the hand and all that, but look, there's a better future we're talking about here. So let's sort this thing out now and smile later. You know, the pricking is just temporary, but we're going to be smiling later. So anything that was too sweet, I avoided. When I was doing this, you know, what helped me is, as I was doing this, I was able to now carve out my own kind of meal that's suitable for my body. Everyone's body is different. And your insulin resistance level is different as well. So it's for us to monitor it closely, take what we can take, check what we need to check, and know our limits. So maybe one slice of bread may be okay, but for some of them, 2 slices may be better. And as you're checking it, you also know, for example, if I had scrambled eggs and avocados, I don't need the tablet, I don't need medication, because my sugar levels are going to be fine. But if at some point I had a little bit of rice to that, then I would have needed my tablets, because the carbs will react as it will stir up something in the system. So that initial stage, this was what I was doing, constantly checking the portion size. When I eat, I check it, I see the effect. I know whether to reduce portion or to increase, to take away this food, because that helped me to know this food stay away, the other food you can have, this one you can have. So I was able to have my own meal plan, what was suitable for my own system. So run away from so much carbs, especially these high ones in the rice and the white bread and the bagels and croissants and all that. Pastas, look into those things, and as much as possible, either it depends on what level you are and what you want to do, is either you're taking it off for the first 2-3 weeks, and then you can introduce it in bits, just little, just reduce the portion size, or you want to just reduce it from the beginning and see how you get on. But the most important thing is you know your body, and you know how to check the effect on what you've eaten on your blood sugars with your blood sugar monitor. And then you know what meals to have and what meals not to have. So these were a few. I got the survey brought up questions about the foods to eat and not. So I thought we should attend to this, this week before Doc, takes over for the next session. I see some charts. I'll just go through the charts if there's anything I need to attend to here before we carry on. So the bag, okay, the high-low bag, that's it. I don't know if it's clear enough. So see high-low, H-I-L-O. So that's the, J, hope you can see it. So that's the bag. It is Sainsbury's at Berridge, just in the bread section, there. And it's £1.70 for the pack. Yeah, the price sounds ridiculous, but health first. As much as possible, health first. Thank you. And watermelon, watermelon is great. Watermelon is okay. But like I said, you need to still check. There's a message about watermelon. Okay, so you still need to check your sugars, before taking it, just to know where you are and to know even what quantity to take. Because if I take the whole watermelon, it might have a negative effect on me. So it's better the quantity to take, and what you're eating with the watermelon matters as well. Because if you had a big meal and you're adding watermelon, it will have a different effect from you just having watermelon as a snack. So let's take note of that as well. And okay, Doc has answered that. I didn't even see browser. Thanks, Doc. Yes, so while I was taking my medication while I was reducing my carb intake, because that was the wisest thing for me to do then. But like I said, the meter was telling me what to do as well. So if I have my meal and I'm seeing it 1 hour plus after I have my meal that the sugars have gone from, maybe before I had my meal, it was 5. And after my meal, it went up to 8. That food should be put in the bin. It should be put in the bin, in my opinion. If it's not put in the bin, reduce it into 3 portions. of whatever you ate that shoots it. So whatever I'm going to eat that will take my sugars to more than 2 points within 1 hour is not good for me. That was the mind I was working with. So if I see it at 8, then I need to go take my medication immediately. Otherwise, it may affect my next meal or whatever. Another thing I saw helped was you being active. You eat, you don't just sit down on the couch watching TV all day. As you're walking, you're being active, you're in the kitchen, going up and down the stairs, walking on the street. So if you're active, that also affects the operation of, or the, what I say, insulin level and all that. Because the more active you are, I think the better for you. But you also need to watch it. For me, that's the way I saw it. You also need to watch it that you don't get hypos. So if you're on a low carb diet and you go ahead and be too active or excessively active, more than what you've eaten, it will also, and maybe you even take medication, it will just blow everything up. So that's why it's important to check it before you have your meal. And then check it after you have your meal, 1.5 hours to 2 hours after you have your meal, to know the effects. And then you know about the medication. So which means you may not, if you're aiming at stopping medication, you may not take medication immediately after your meal. You can leave 1 hour and check the effect, then you know whether to take it or not, just so you don't get the sugars too low and get into hypos on the street, and God forbid, that's not where we need to be. But the meter reading, the machine will help you to guide you in terms of what you're taking, what you're not taking, and what medication to take. Okay, I hope that answered that question. Please, can we take multivitamin that you dissolve in water? I hope they don't have too much sugar. The meter reading, the machine will tell you about that, because different ones are. So when you take it, leave about maybe an hour and check your sugar level if you've got a machine at home, and that will help. Dissolving machine have lots of sugar also. Okay, thanks, Doc. Thank you so much. So I'm sure you can see the response from Doc already. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing that now as well. So that's it for me for today. So those are the few things I did. I went strictly to low carb, high fat diets, but initially I went to low carbs at all diet. And then I graduated to low carbs, high fat diet. So now, I know where I am. I know what I need to eat. I know I could eat something, and I know what the sugar reading is going to be in the next 1 hour. I already have an idea of what's going to be like, so I'll know what to do. If I need to skip a bit more, if I need to walk a bit more to get it. I drink. The water is important as well. The water helps as well to get things flowing. The water, drink loads of water. That also helps to dissolve things a bit. Right. Thank you so much, everyone. At this point, I would hand over to Doc. I don't know. Does anyone need like a cup of tea? Want a few 2 minutes break? 2 minutes break, please. Get a cup of tea or coffee, what you want. Just get yourself comfortable. After hearing all these stories from me, you need a break, and then you go back to Doc, please. So I'll just give you 2 minutes. So we're back to 28, please. So if you want to get something to drink, before then, so at this point, I'll hand over to Dr. Adaeze to continue with us. I'm sure she's got a lot to tell us today. Over to you, please, Doc. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dayibara. Right, allow me to share, transfer hosting to me.
Yeah, do that now. That's it.
Okay, right. Let's hope this works. Give me a moment. Okay, so we're back again. It's been wonderful, this past few weeks going through these talks. It's really been exciting. I always love to hear Dayibara's story. I always remind her before we start, you have to tell your story. You have to tell your story, because I think it's really powerful when people are able to, the patients are able to, I'm saying patient now, she's no longer a patient, but when you succeed, people hearing from you are inspired because they realize that they too can do the same thing. What you say is more powerful than what any doctor can say, to be honest, because you have experienced it yourself, So thank you for always sharing your story with us. And not only did you work on yourself, you've put up this program. This is Dayibara's handwork, completely hers, went all out, put up this program so that she can help other people. I really commend you for that. Well done. What we really want to do is to empower people. We give you the information and you then go out and make something of it, you know, do your own research like she did, find out what works for you. I don't want you to leave your health for your doctor, you know. A lot of people just take what the doctor says, hook, line, and sinker, and they don't make any efforts themselves. It's your health. No matter how much the doctor wants to help you, you have got to own it. You know, we encourage people to own their health. For those who are just joining us for the first time, my name is Dr. Adaeze Ifezulike, and this is week 4 of the program. We've been at this every Saturday, and it's been really exciting. I don't know if there are people in the chat who have been with us. If you were here week 1, week 2, week 3, could you type into the chat? Let's have an idea of people who have been with us from the beginning. I recognize some of the names. Thank you for coming back. If you're new, let us know. If you've been with us before, please type into the chat, let us know. So far we've covered quite a lot. We've talked so much about insulin. I'm sure everyone who has been with us can now write a thesis on insulin. We've talked about the types of diabetes. We covered type 1, type 2, the differences. We've talked about the blood sugar being a symptom. We said that your blood sugar is your symptom. It's not the issue, you know. So don't focus just on I've got to bring down my blood sugar. We've said we have to look at what is causing it, the root cause of the problem. We've also said that it's really important to have your glucometer, make sure you can check your readings. If you hear what Dayibara is saying, she's always talking about how she would check. She will say, this food, this is what is done to my blood, you know. So she was always checking. You've got to be able to check if you're diabetic, because we don't want you going, letting your blood sugars go too low, because that can be a problem too. So you must have a glucometer, and I've said you can get that free from your GP surgery. Once you're diabetic, they will give you your own glucometer if you want that, you know. And then we've talked about fasting and how that can help us reduce our insulin levels. We talked a lot about types of fasting, intermittent fasting, extended fasting, and so on. Just do what you're able to do. You know, don't feel you have to do 2 weeks of fasting, that sort of thing. You know, even shifting your breakfast, like I keep saying, shift it 1 or 2 hours, shift it to noon. Just small steps can mean a lot, because it allows your insulin levels to come down and your body to mop up all that extra sugar circulating around. And we've said that it's really important to make sure you're drinking fluids when you're fasting. We don't recommend dry fasting. So one of the things we did was to ask you to fill that feedback form. And so we've had a look at the forms. Thank you to everyone who filled the form and sent your feedback. Thank you. We're glad to know you're appreciating the sessions. That's what keeps us going. That's what makes us know we're making a difference. And we're happy to take out time from our weekend to come here week after week to talk about these things. We know it's helping from what you've said to us. And the other thing we wanted to look at from the feedback form was what you wanted to hear about. You know, what do people really, we don't want to be preaching at you. We want to actually cover things that mean something to you. You know, so a lot of people fed back that they wanted to hear about weight, how they can lose weight. They wanted to be educated, empowered around losing weight. So we decided we'll cover that today, in addition to other things that were highlighted, which Dayibara has covered in terms of what to actually eat and so on. She's covered that really nicely. I'll touch on that as well. So just in the chat, Clara is saying, I've been since 2nd week and have lots to tell, but in summary, this program focuses on lifestyle as opposed depending on medicine. Good, yes. So you captured it beautifully. Clara, you've just got it. You know, you said you've been with us since the 2nd week and you've kept coming back, which means this is useful for you. And you said, eat your food as your medicine instead of eating medicine as your food. That's it. Perfect. You know, someone like Dayibara decided she's not going to be on medication all her life. You know, so and that's what we're saying to people. That's what I'm a lifestyle medicine physician. That's what we're saying to people. The medicine is good, and I still prescribe medicine, but I try to point people to their lifestyle. Don't depend on the medicine solely. See what changes you can make, because the changes might mean that you're able to take just one medicine instead of two. And that's something, if you come off one medicine, if you're now on just one medicine instead of two because of your lifestyle change, then that's great. If you were on 5 medications and you make some changes and you're now down to 3, that's something, So it's about looking at your lifestyle and making changes. So Clara, thank you for that. You captured it really nicely. Would you say this is our 4th week? Tell me, but you're asking where you can get needles and testing strips. Go to your GP. Okay, go to every surgery has a diabetic nurse. So when you book the appointment, say you would like to speak to the nurse that deals with diabetes. It's not the doctors don't really deal with diabetes as such. It's the nurse, the practice nurse. You can leave a message, say you would like to have a machine, please, you're diabetic, they will supply you one. We have loads of these things lying about in the surgery. So they'll be happy to give you if you contact them. Okay, so because you wanted to hear about weight management, that's a specialty area for me. I've helped hundreds of women and men lose weight, and because of my own experience, I had a bit of weight too and struggled as I got older. And so I've come to see that a lot of our health problems are related to people being obese. So it's something I've taken time to look into. We don't have enough time to teach everything, but I hope to give you some steps you can take that will begin to make a difference immediately. And for a lot of people, losing weight may be all you need to get on top of your diabetes, to get on top of your high blood pressure, to get on top of your acne. Some people have heaps of acne and so on. That may all clear if you lose weight. Some people have arthritis, joint pain, that they may need to lose weight. That may be all you need. Some people are waiting for surgery. Maybe the surgeon has said, you've got to lose this amount of weight before we operate on you. That's what they are doing now on the NHS, because they know that if you're obese and they operate, your outcomes are worse. So the surgeon doesn't want it to be said his surgery failed. So they're now saying to patients, you've got to lose weight before we operate on you. So it's really important to be the right weight for your height. So a few pointers, hopefully you can pick 1 or 2 in the short time we have to run with, okay? So obesity is multifactorial. That means there's no one single cause. We can't say it's because people are eating too much, or they are so lazy, they are not exercising, or, there are so many factors. Could be stress. Some people add weight from stress. Some people add weight from poor sleep. If you're not sleeping enough, you will add weight eventually, so there are a lot of factors that cause people to add weight. It's not just one thing. So, but I've tried to pick out the few main ones, which will be things around food, around increasing your activity level. I don't want to call it exercise. Some people don't want to hear exercise, but so we're saying increase your activity level. You don't have to have it in the head that, oh, I'm doing exercise. If you don't like that, just say to yourself, I'm trying to increase my activity level. And also mindset. Mindset is key. There are people who have given up. You just feel, well, my mother was fat, so I'm fat, and that is it. There's nothing I can do. Well, Dayibara could have said the same. She could have said, my mom died of diabetes, therefore I'm just going to wait and die of diabetes. But she decided, no, I've got to make changes now. So she changed her mindset. She realized that I don't have to go the same way as my mom. So if you're listening here, you're struggling with your weight, don't get it into your mind that, oh, it's just the way I am. Some people say they have heavy bones, and therefore they've concluded that that's why they're the way they do. Don't give into those mindsets, because that will keep you in the same position, okay? So these are sort of key aspects of weight loss I want to cover. So the step 1 to take is to reduce your added sugars. Reduce your added sugars. We're talking about meals that you can sweeten yourself. That's what I mean by added sugars. There are some foods that are already sweet. For example, your banana is sweet already. You're not going to sprinkle sugar on the banana when you're eating it. Or your watermelon, you get your slice of watermelon and then put sugar on it. You won't do that. So those are not added sugars. Added sugars are meals like maybe your porridge or your custard or your pap, akamu. Those from Africa will know what I mean. There are some corn meals you make and then you add sugar into it. Those are dangerous ones because they can easily put too much. Those are often the culprits, foods that you can sweeten yourself. And even some people cook here, they make stews, you know, tomato sauce and so on, and they put sugar into it. There's sugar now in everything. Even some slices of chicken you buy in the shop, if you look on the packet, they'll tell you there's sugar in it. And you wonder why someone will put sugar in slices of ham. You know, they want these things tasting nice so that you keep buying more. But then the sugars are not great. And that's why obesity levels are skyrocketing. 2 out of 3 adults are overweight or obese. 2 out of 3. So that's a high number. So watch out for your sauces, your pastries, your jams, your jellies, your fruit juices. These are things that often have added sugar. Even things as harmless as ketchup. You know, the ketchup we use with our chips, it's got heaps of sugar in it. Heaps of sugar in ketchup. So mind those sort of meals. The other thing is to beware the different names of sugar. You might be looking at a label of food and you're like, there's no sugar. It doesn't say sugar. Beware that manufacturers now use different names for sugar, just so that they can, hoodwink you, so they use different names. Do we know names of sugar? Can anyone type into the chat, what other names can you use instead of saying sugar? What other names can you, if you're a food manufacturer, instead of, you don't want to put sugar, because these people have been listening to Dr. Adaeze, so now they're looking for sugar. So I'm not going to put sugar. What other names do you think people are putting on food to masquerade the fact that it has sugar? Okay, Clara says sucrose. Very correct. Yes, same thing as sugar, but you may not know, So if you're looking for sugar, you see sucrose, you move on thinking, So which other names? There are like 50 names, so many names for sugars. Now, come on, rack your brain and drop into the chat. What names of sugar do you know? What names? Because those are things you can look out for in a label. Really important. Honey, thank you. Honey is another name for sugar. Honey is basically sugar, even though it's natural, it's just the way it's made in nature. There are very few foods that are sugar like that in nature. Honey is one of the very few. You hardly see a food, natural food, that is just sugar. Honey is one of the very few. Sweetness, yes, sweetness can be put there as well. It will sweeten the food. Okay, fructose, thank you, Jay. Jay says fructose. So there are different names, and we need to be aware of that. Right, so I'll put up a chart here of the different names of sugar. Many shades, I've called it many shades of sugar. So any of this actually means sugar. Molasses, blackstrap molasses. Okay, hold on, let me see if I can get a pointer. Right, here we go. Treacle, caramel, agave nectar, that all means sugar, okay? Barley malt syrup, brown rice syrup, carob syrup, corn syrup. So you may not see sugar, but if you see corn syrup, it's sugar they mean. There's malt sugar, maple sugar, palm sugar, dextrose, So all of that, sugar beet syrup, all of that means sugar. So there are lots of names that manufacturers are allowed to use to masquerade, to hide the fact that they put sugar into the meal. So all of that, lots of them actually means sugar. So it's really important to educate yourself, be conscious of these things. People say, oh, I don't really eat sugar, but then they're eating sugary stuff without realizing it. I remember one day I was coming back from work and I stopped at a filling station because I was hungry. And I wanted to buy fuel, but as I was standing in the line to pay for the fuel, I was hungry, so I was looking around the shop. I thought maybe I'll buy a snack bar or something to eat. And I actually picked up a snack bar. They actually said healthy snack bar, so I picked it up. And as I was waiting to go and pay, I just turned over to the label because I've made a habit of trying to read labels. I turned over and I saw it had sugar, 46 grams in this small pack of snack bar. And to put it into context, 1 spoon of sugar is 4 grams, okay? 1 spoon of your sugar is 4 grams, yeah? So this pack of snack bar had 46 grams, so more than 10 spoons of sugar. I was shocked. I said, what? This just tiny snack bar had more than 10 spoons of sugar in it. And the only way I knew was because I read the label. So reading label is a skill you can try to acquire so that you know what to do. And you just wonder, how would someone make what they call a healthy snack bar and put more than 10 spoons of sugar in it? That's crazy stuff. It's crazy. But there you go. And this is something you eat and you will still be hungry. By the time you get home, you're still, in fact, it makes you even more hungry. Sugar makes you more hungry, so it doesn't solve the problem. And it makes you add weight. So that's the first step, reduce your added sugars. Breakfast is often the meal with added sugar. So consider skipping it altogether. That's the meal we often, our breakfast cereals, our crunchy, crusty, frosted flakes, all those are just sugary stuff, So when we talked about fasting, we said you could try and skip your breakfast. So if you're the type that normally has a sugary breakfast and you skipped that means you skipped a whole lot of sugar. That will help with your weight loss. Okay, try and incorporate maybe things like eggs and healthy fats. Someone's asking about healthy fats. We'll come to that in a moment. Oats are great for breakfast if you're replacing that with your cereal, but try not to take the instant oats. Instant oats are formulated, so you just put them in the microwave and in 30 seconds it's done. But they're often full of sugar, so that's not the sort of oats we're talking about. Use oats that are more, you need to cook a bit longer, maybe 2 minutes or there, but not the instant one. And this sort of oats, you can then flavor it yourself with pieces of fruits, pieces of banana or berries and so on, rather than adding your own sugar to it. Okay, so can I check? Is my screen moving, Dayibara? What can you see?
Yes, it's moving nice. I see a glass of juice. Don't drink.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so still under added sugars, don't drink sugary drinks. They are super stimulants of insulin. We talked about how insulin stops you from losing weight. So the more sugary drinks you drink, the more you have insulin floating in the system. So look at your things like smoothies, your iced teas and coffee, your juices, your soda, your shakes, your mixed alcohol. Alcohol is not even left out. Now they actually sweeten the alcohol. When they say mixed drinks, there's often sugar in it. Your hot chocolate. Hot chocolate is about 36 grams of carb in just a mug. Just a mug of hot chocolate. That's a whole lot of carbs you're drinking in. So you might just think, oh, it's a drink. They may even say it's a healthy smoothie. Even healthy smoothies are full of sugar. So beware. You can make your own smoothie, buy your own fruits, blend it, then you know exactly what you're drinking. But oftentimes the ones bought in the shop, no matter how much they write healthy smoothie, they're often full of sugars. So sweeteners, people often ask about sweeteners. Oh, okay, I was going to stop sugar. Can I use sweeteners? I often say that you can use sweeteners as a stepping stone to getting to where you're not needing sugar. But otherwise, I wouldn't recommend sweeteners at all because they don't aid your weight loss and they still stimulate hunger and make you crave for sugary things because they keep your tongue, your taste buds used to that sugary taste. So in the long run, they're not really helping you to work on your weight. So that's about added sugars. And now let's look at step 2. If you're trying to lose weight, you have to reduce your refined grains. What do we mean by grains? Grains are often seeds from edible grass. So there are some grasses that have their seeds that are edible, such as your rice, your wheat, those are they're grains, but they're often now refined into what we're eating today. So you have your white rice, your white flours. Flours are from wheat, refined wheat. They're used to make cakes, cookies, muffins, bread, donuts. All of that can hinder your weight loss. Dayibara has covered this really nicely about breads, and she's told us for those who are die-hard bread eaters, there are some healthier breads you can buy. So your white potatoes. If you look at the food down on the chart here, your white bread, your white rice, your donuts, your potatoes, fried potato chips, your cakes. These are often highly processed, they're refined, and in the refining process, they actually remove the fiber, the fat, the protein, leaving basically sugars and pure carbs. So they've refined it to an extent that it's just plain sugar. And not only that, they have ground it into powder, which makes the absorption faster. That means that when you eat these foods, your blood sugar, they get absorbed quickly, right quickly into your system and increase your blood sugar and insulin levels. And if your insulin levels are raised, you cannot lose weight. We've covered this nicely in the previous classes. If you missed the previous classes, please write to Dayibara, let her know. She can send you the the links so you can go back and watch. It's really important that you watch the 4 videos in the series to have a better understanding of what we're talking about. Okay, so number 3 step is to ensure you eat enough protein and healthy fats. It's very easy not to eat enough of these things because many of our foods are carbohydrates. So the carbohydrates are sort of pushing off the protein and healthy fats of our meals. So there's a tendency to eat more carbohydrates. So you actually have to consciously eat enough protein and healthy fats. So we need the proteins to build our bodies. Eating these sort of meals make you feel full for longer because they stimulate your satiety hormones. There are hormones, there are chemical messengers that are produced when you eat these healthy proteins and fats that make your body, you get the signal that, okay, I'm full, it's time to stop eating. Okay, so, but the other sort of foods, the refined ones we talked about, your cakes, your muffins, and so on, they don't stimulate these hormones that make you feel full. So you don't get that signal that says stop. And that's why you can lick a tub of ice cream. You can keep eating things like donuts. You can eat a full pack of donuts because you don't get the signal to stop because they are not natural foods. But our natural foods, such as your eggs, your avocado, these are healthy fats, your olives, your olive oils, your fish, your oily fish, very important. They provide good omega-3, which are good for your brain health. So your mackerel, your sardine, these are all oily fishes that are part of healthy fats. So the lady that was asking, I hope this has been helpful for you. These are some of the healthy fats we're talking about. We covered them in a previous class as well. So step 4, I encourage you to eat food in its most natural state if you ever intend to lose weight. If you're overweight here, begin to consciously avoid food that is packaged or boxed. These foods are often highly processed. Eat food the way you recognize they appear in nature. For example, if you see almond nuts, that's how they are in nature. There's just nothing else to the nuts. That's how it is. If you see a carrot, you know how it is in nature. If you see your cucumbers, your broccoli, and so on, that's your tomatoes, that is their natural state. Okay, so if you tend to eat food more in their natural state, you will lose weight. Okay, interestingly, kids don't even recognize food that grow on trees. I watched this clip on on YouTube. It was really funny and sad at the same time. It was funny, but it was also sad because they were asking the children different foods. They said, okay, which of these grow on trees? And the children, some were saying donuts grow on trees. They just didn't know. We have a generation of children growing up who don't even know what real food is. They didn't recognize things like onions. That's when they showed them an onions, they didn't know what it was. They couldn't tell whether it was onions that grew or the chips that grew. You understand? They don't know what is normal food now. So we need to help our young people, our young children, because otherwise they are going to grow up, just eating all this man-made food. And the obesity rates will continue to skyrocket. We have children now who are so obese, they now have diabetes. It shouldn't be that way. So natural food signals to us when to stop eating. Refined foods don't have this signal, so they're easy to overeat. Example, pineapple. You can't eat a full pineapple. You stop halfway. You understand? Because it has natural signals to make you stop. But pineapple juice, do you know you can drink 2 liters of pineapple juice? Because all the fiber that should stimulate you to stop it taking are not there again. This is plain liquid sugar. So you can drink heaps of it, whereas you can't eat a full pineapple. You see the difference? The pineapple is in its natural state. By the time you take 2-3 slices of pineapple, you're done. Yeah, but for them to make pineapple juice, they may have to juice up to 10 pineapples and you can drink it all. So you see the difference. That's why the people are adding weight when they eat these sort of things. Okay, step 5, balance feeding and fasting. Okay, there's got to be a balance. You can't eat all the time. Our modern society encourages us to keep eating. You eat your breakfast, then you eat a midday snack, then you eat your lunch, then you eat another snack. That constant eating means that your body is simply always storing, always making fat cells. So we have to allow the body to use the energy you have fed it. Avoid eating all the time. Extend the period your body is using those calories. By fasting, we say extend things a bit. Let your body actually tap into its fat stores before you feed it again. Try intermittent fasting, try extended fasting. We've talked about fasting in a previous class. Remember, you've got to keep an eye on your sugars and let your own doctors know what you are doing. Okay, step 6, get a blood test. Blood tests are useful. If you're on this chart and you've been struggling to lose weight, then it might be that there are other reasons. There may be other health problems that need to be looked into. In quick case, a blood test might help. For example, if you have thyroid issues, if your thyroid gland, which is a gland in your neck that produces a hormone that powers up the system, if your thyroid gland is underactive, then you won't be able to lose weight. You will struggle to lose weight. Okay, so you might need a blood test to check your thyroid. You may need to be checked for cortisol excess. Cortisol is a hormone in the body. When there's excess, when there's too much of it, you actually have a lot of fat located around your neck area, what we call the buffalo hump. A lot of fat around the neck area and the chest area. But the person will have slim hands. So the weight gain is centrally what is truncal obesity, but your arms are really skinny. Okay, in that sort of situation, if you have that look, that appearance, and you're struggling to lose weight, your doctor can do a cortisol test. It's a morning test. It's done in the morning because cortisol is a hormone that wakes us up, that gets us started for the day. So the GP will say, come in the morning, we'll do a cortisol test, okay? And if it's abnormal, then they can contact the endocrine doctors who can take things from there. Insulin excess also means that you may not be able to lose weight. How do you know you have insulin excess? Remember, insulin is the hormone secreted when we take some food in. Now, people with this excess, they may have a tumor, like a growth that is producing excess, flooding the bloodstream with insulin. Now, when that happens, their blood sugar often dips. There are people who they've just eaten, they feel, their blood sugar level, when you check, is so low. We've seen values like 1.2, it shouldn't be that low. You understand? They are found to have excess insulin. It might be, if you're the type, the way you've just eaten, but then you're feeling sweaty, you're feeling confused, like you're going to pass out. Meanwhile, you've just eaten, and this is recurrent, and they check your blood sugar is on the low side. It might mean that there's too much insulin. Again, the endocrine doctors can help with that sort of situation. So if you're struggling to lose weight, basically what I'm saying is, if you've done all your best and it's not working, get a blood test to check that there's no other underlying problem. Okay, so step 7 is get more active. Please get more active. You might not be like this lady here, who is, I'm not even sure what this sort of exercise is called. It's like a dance or something. Sorry, someone is saying something.
No, I was just shocked at the activity.
Yeah, exactly. So it may not be that active, but at least everyone can walk. Everybody, you may walk really slowly. Maybe you have really bad arthritis, your knees are knackered and your hips are, yes, but you might still be able to walk really slowly, So the goal is often 10,000 steps daily. I say to people, try and get 10,000 steps daily. Even if you can't make 10,000 steps and you're doing 1,000 more steps more than before, then that's great. You're making progress. Start and grow. Walk everywhere if possible. Park your car far from the shops and then walk, or park it far from your workplace and then walk the rest of the way. Just find a way to make being more active a lifestyle. Pace about during meetings. A lot of meetings are happening online now. Can you pace about during the meeting rather than sit throughout? Think about standing desks. A lot of offices are beginning to realize the importance of a standing desk. These are desks you can lift, it has a lever that takes your laptop and everything up so you can stand for a while. And after you've stood for a bit, you can lower it again and sit down. So you can do that intermittently during your work day, up and then down. That has been found to improve your activity levels and help your health. So what other ways can we increase activity? Let's see those listening. What other ways? What have you tried to do to increase your activity levels? What sort of things do you think we can do a bit more? Because it's really important to, if you're ever planning to lose weight, one of the key things you can do is to make sure you are incorporating more activity into your day. So feel free to type in the chat. Someone might learn from what you're already doing. Okay, so while we wait for that, I'm just going to round up here because it's important to take questions, and it's exactly 3 o'clock. We want to keep this to 1 hour. Just to say that I have a weight loss academy. I've shared a lot of stuff here, so hopefully you may not even need any help. You know, we want to empower you to do these things yourself. But if you find that you're struggling, you want someone to hold your hand, please write to me at fabweightlossacademy@gmail.com. We can get you onto the class, the Fab Weight Loss Academy. We will help you lose weight. Or if you have specific health problems, get in touch. We'll try to help, okay? But hopefully you've picked up a few things you can begin to use to help yourself. There's the obesity series on YouTube. Please watch. It's a 12-part series I've done talking about how to lose weight and so on. It's a free resource. So feel free to look at that also. And I'll stop so far. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope you've been able to pick 1 or 2 things that can help you to work on your weight, because that was a concern for you from our feedback. So thank you for listening. And I will hand back to Dayibara.
Thanks so much, Doc. Thank you so much. I've learned some new things here as well. I've been taking notes just in case, guys. I'm taking notes. Because we're learning every day. We're learning every day. No one, knows it all. So I'm still learning as well. And talking about the last bits, while I was trying to get myself more active as well, I was doing a bit of skipping here and there with the kids. I joined the school because they used to have exercise at school, morning exercise, maybe like 8:30 to 9 before they go into class. So I started joining the kids and teachers in the morning. When I drop off, I stay 30 minutes, and then, so that helped me as well, seeing other parents doing similar things. So like Doc has said, if you need a helping hand, there's a team, she's able to get you, into it. That'll be helpful. When I can just tell them to start your jumping, even dancing.
Yeah.
Dancing was another thing I was doing. I could just put maybe praise song at home and just dance around the house and so it's double. I'm getting double benefit out of that. So while having fun, also reducing my weight. I lost a lot of weight as well because of this. I lost a lot of weight. It was really evident that those excess carbs had to go. So as those carbs left, the sugar, drastically reduced. And sometimes when I was asked earlier I'm like, well, those things that left didn't have a space in my body. They were not meant to be there. So now the real faith is here. Those things are not meant to be there. So weight loss is going to help really with sugar control. So please, are there any questions? Because we're just going to wrap up now. Just to remind us, we've got 2 more weeks to go. Next week and the upper week. Please leave me a message. If you send me an email, if you need the recordings just to replay and all of that. I don't know, are there any other questions coming in? There was a question that came, although I attended to it, but maybe Doc has something to say. What about sweet corn on cobs? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's a complex carbohydrate. It's not like straightforward sugar. However, it is the sweeter variety of corn, So if it's something you have once in a while, it's fine. Just don't take too much of it. And again, keep an eye on your blood sugars. Yeah. Thanks
so much. And zero sugar Coke?
I don't like those sort of zero things, to be honest. They may have removed the sugar, but they've used sweeteners, to still keep it sweet. And you're trying to, change your taste buds. You're trying to rework it back down to appreciating sugar in smaller amounts, So, but sweeteners keep it at that higher level. And actually, some studies have shown that the sweeteners make you hungry. They stimulate your appetite. So I wouldn't recommend that. But again, if you're moving from the normal Coke that is full of sugar, you know, and you're heading towards water and you need a stopgap. Yeah, it's something you could take for a while to then transition, you know. So, but I'll say try and avoid it completely.
Okay, thank you very much. And can one focus on stomach exercise only if he or she has truncal obesity?
Yeah, there are people who have fats in specific areas of their body. I know one of my friends, her own is her thighs. Her thighs are really fat. She has fat thighs, even though the rest of her isn't big, you know. So for that, she has to do like more of thigh exercise. So there are specific exercises for different parts of the body. There are women who have really large arms. And so for those sort of women, they may have to do some weightlifting to try and move the fat from the arms, you know. So yes, certainly if your tummy is big and the rest of you is not, and it's not a medical problem, your GP has checked and it's just fat, then yes, specific tummy exercises can help you.
Thank you very much. And there's a question here from Jay. Can I become one of Dr. Daisy's patients?
Well, I think everyone has their own GP depending on where you live. So if you live around my area, I guess so. But of course, I do private health coaching, if that's what you mean. Again, if you contact me, I can try to help privately. But in terms of the NHS, it depends on if you live in the area of my surgery.
Thank you very much, Doc. That's very helpful. So thanks, everyone. Once again, your time is very much appreciated, and I hope this has been a good time spent here. I hope you've had a bit of knowledge, you know, from what you've heard from here. The link is not up, but please, could you send? I believe you have the links for the survey. Doc, do you have the link anyway? Sorry, I haven't brought the link up yet.
Oh, I don't have it to hand.
I could send the link by email to you,
send
please.
it by
Please
email.
send your feedbacks to us so we could know how to help you better in our forthcoming 2 sessions, please. And where can I get all the recording stuff? I'll send that by email.
Can you, because some people may not have registered through Eventbrite.
Yeah.
So can you put your email, your own email, so they contact you directly?
Yeah, please. Or if you just send me an email through Eventbrite, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll respond with the links to the recorded videos, please. Thank you very much for that. Thanks. So hope to see you guys next week, Saturday, 2 o'clock. Tell your friends, tell others if you think there's anyone that's going to benefit from the information we're sharing here. And remember, if you need any personal discussions with Doc, she's available as well. Drop me an email, and I'll get you connected with her. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks once again. And remember, put to practice what you've learned. That makes a difference. That makes a difference. Thank you so much. Well done. God bless you all. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Doc.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Doc, could you stop me?
Okay, am I the one to? Okay, let's see.